Oh, hey friends. Oh, Ronica, I hear you. I'm asking you guys what are you loving this morning? And she said, like, the first low demand day in weeks, right? Welcome, Sonder family. My name is Jennifer Ogilvy. I get to be your on-screen facilitator this morning as we set up this first full complete week of January 2026. You have Team Jennifer on the call. Jennifer Krippner will be hanging out in the chat. She's coming to you from Minnesota. She's popping on to give you a wave. If you need anything along the way this morning, drop that question in the chat, and she'll do her best to direct you to the right info on that if you need any kind of support. If you have any questions about your actual journal subscription products, mailings, that kind of stuff, we're going to encourage you to check in with our customer care at hello@silkandsonder.com. And that will maybe, Jennifer and I don't have like that information to be able to check on your accounts and that kind of thing. So, anyway, we are really, really glad to be welcoming you this morning. Maybe there's someone here for the first time. If that's you, we'd love to tell you good morning. We have like this morning crew that is ever faithful that show up Monday after Monday. They keep this self accountability appointment to hang out with their journal, to set up for the week, to get inspired by one another. Jennifer, welcome. We've got a first timer there. And those of you who are returning, who come and kind of hang out with our Monday crew, as well as the Saturday and the Sunday setups, welcome back to you. And a big welcome if you are watching the repeat of this via our Silk and Sonder YouTube channel. As you remember, all of our socials are recorded, and you'll be able to access this social via the YouTube channel, as well as I think it's over 1,100 socials now. Most of those are socials that are like weekly setups. Then we've got the monthly setups, but we also have the socials from all the past themes. And so, if you're ever having a week and you're not feeling very brave, you could go and do a search within that YouTube channel for bravery, which was one of our themes a while back. And the bravery socials can pop up, and you can maybe sit and work on some of those journal prompts with the help of one of the facilitators who did that. So anytime you need to embrace one of the old themes, just know you can go and re-up it in that YouTube channel. So I did ask, what are you loving this week? Share that in the chat. My grandkids, I have three. The littlest is back at daycare today, but the two big ones don't go to school until tomorrow. My 4-year-old and my 7-year-old, and their mama had to go back to work. So we had to spend the night. And I got to wake up with my granddaughter is a very early riser, but it was just she and me, and I was drinking my coffee, and she was eating her breakfast, and it was a little quiet. And she looked at me and she said, "We have so much to be grateful for." And I was just like, oh my gosh, I need to start my day with you every morning. So that's what I'm loving. I'm loving that I got to kick off this week with little grands. Just darling. It really was. It was a really good start to the day. So I'll be writing that in my reflection for today. So anyhow, so I want to know, what are you loving? Do you have something new from the holidays? A new product, or you binging or binging something new on television? We want to know because we share with each other. I will also tell you, I have a wonderful book to recommend because I know a lot of you are big readers. I just finished The Correspondent. Oh, my heart. So that's gonna be, I love that I finished it this year because I can say that right now is going to probably be my favorite book of the whole year. It was beautiful. So highly recommend that. It's about a lot of this woman who is the correspondent is a letter writer. So it's almost like a journal kind of frame of mind. I think you'll love that. So I highly recommend that. Alrighty, so enough chatting. Here are those community guidelines that we share when we are together. These also apply when we are engaging in Sonder Club, which is the app for our community. Highly encourage you to be a part of that if you're not already. But it's all about creating safe spaces and being kind and courteous to ourselves and others. So you'll see those reminders at every one of our times together. And again, that reminder, any other inquiries about your journal, customer care should be able to support by reaching out to hello@silkensonder.com. You're loving that the kids are back at school today. Yeah, Michelle, it's weird in the Dallas area where I am, they like the teachers went back, but the kids have one more day. So here we are with alignment. I found my graphic. You're going to see this all month long. It's about our energy for 2026, and it's only doing what feels genuinely right in your tuition and letting go of everything else. And I thought that was a great definition of alignment. So there's that shout out to that. Our morning agenda is, of course, we're going to work on our alignment mind map. Now, if you're here for the first time, the mind map is your bonus prompt that you get when you show up to these weekly setups. And what it is, it's bonus content. You will not find it in your journal. But each week throughout the month, we look at a journal prompt through the lens of that theme. So this month is all about alignment, and we'll work on week number one. And then we're going to do that rosebud thorn reflection. And then I have our weekly setup pages to take a look at. All righty. So you're encouraged to find a space in your journal. You might do, my recommendation was the book, The Correspondent, Karen. I loved it. Loved it. All about writing. How, oh, words are so powerful. So our prompt is, as we move into January, we're centering ourselves around this powerful theme of alignment. And of course, we've had that busy energy of the holidays, just like Radhika was saying, this is like the first low stakes normal day in a while. This is our chance to pause and make sure that our habits, rituals, and daily routines are serving who we are. And I know many of us are saying we're going to declutter, we're going to get back into the rhythms and routines of our day. There's something about turning that calendar page. I'm really trying to lean into the fact it's another day. Yes, it's a new year, but I still want to be gentle and not just take on the world because when I take on too much, I usually falter. So we're not looking for vague resolutions. We're looking for that glow up, and that's the theme of kind of this alignment month. So our first week's question is, we're looking at our core connection. And we're going to take a look at our daily schedule and ask ourselves which three activities make me feel most like my true self, that core, what you are deep down, and which three feel like they pull me out of alignment. Now, let me share with you. You can do this on a blank page. I did mine on the very last page, and lots of times I do shapes, but this month I just drew a big X down the middle of that page. I think it felt aligned because it wasn't all my goofy stuff. You can use your weekly scratch pad from week to week to week to answer each one of these questions. Or you could maybe take a look at some sticky notes. The quote page is great this month because it's a small quote. There's a lot of room on page 38. So any space in your journal. And I love this question because it's this duality, right? The things that make us not feel like our true self and the things that do. I thought this quote really supported that. A lot of the conflict you have in life exists simply because you're not living in alignment. You're not being true to yourself. And so I went in this direction with mine. I looked at my daily schedule and the things that make me feel aligned, my true self, are there on the left. And I said, I do a daily Al-Anon reflection and meditation. I have alcoholics in my life, and that helps me let them be them. Unfortunately, recovery is part of their journey. But that Al-Anon helps me focus on all the things that, when I try to take control, it's from things from my childhood that make me do that. So that Al-Anon reflection and meditation each day helps me feel aligned. Making a realistic to-do list, something that I can really do, not this, pie in the sky stuff, but very concrete, small steps, and then doing it, finding my flow in that. That makes me feel aligned. And then if I have the screen time, too much screen time, uh, takes away from my true self. So I don't know why I put that under the aligned column. I think I got distracted probably by screens. Out of alignment, not observing all things sleep related. Like when my sleep hygiene is off, I'm tired, I get out of sync, I drag, I don't embrace the day. So that sleeping hygiene that's not good throws me off. Mine is when I try to manage someone else's life, like my husband's. And again, that goes back to my Al-Anon work. Like I have to let him, like Mel Robbins says. So when I try to manage other people, that throws me out of alignment. And then the clutter in my life. So whether it's physical, the cluttered desktops, the cluttered countertops, or things like the phone, right? Those distractions, that mental clutter. Those are the things that make me feel misaligned. So I'm going to let you work on that, and I'm going to work on my true self and correct that number three because I think I have more things that make me feel off than the things that make me feel on. But y'all, as you're working on that, share because what may come up for you could also come up for someone else. And we'll work on this. I'm giving you a little extra time so you can set up your page, and then we'll get on with the rest of our setup. righty. Kimberly L was remembering back in June when we had a similar reflection. And so, of course, I love when we can reflect back. It's like we never stop doing those past themes. Hopefully, they're still bubbling around in your soul. But yeah, that's a good call out, Kimberly L. Thanks for remembering that. And oh, did you? Yeah, I thought that X was just an easy way to set up the page, Sonia. It just felt like that was good alignment, and I did fix my number three on my aligned. It now says screen time in check, and that's what makes me feel aligned. I just got distracted, you know. What can I say? So, thank you for beginning this journey of alignment with your mind map. We'll be working on that week by week throughout the month. So, I can't wait to hear, how you grow. So, now we're going to flip over to page 30, which is our rosebud thorn reflection from the past week that we experienced. And those are the things that we look at to kind of find gratitude in the week or areas where we can grow. So the thorns, of course, the things that didn't go well, the things that might have been a hiccup. Maybe there's an area you could use a little more support. Sometimes those thorns are lingering. I know many of you have shared health journey things that they're still there. Those thorns don't go away, but you're letting them define how you can learn and grow from them. For me, my thorn is little, but it's just we put the holiday decor away, which is a lot of lights, and so my house just feels sad and empty, and it's just that kind of naked feeling in the house. There's just so much warmth when lights are shining everywhere, so it has me just that little bit of holiday blues. But I did go ahead and bring out some Valentine things to sort of take a little bit of the place. But I just love all the lights that happen there. So that's just my thorn. The house feels a little naked today. The bud is, what are you looking forward to? What could bloom? What's coming your way in the future? And it could be this week. It could be something about this whole year. Maybe you have a big trip planned. And so you're going to start letting that be your bud, your thing to look forward to. My middle nephew is going to be driving back from the Houston area up to Indiana, and we are a stop along the way. And he is going to spend the night with us this week. And there's just something about that middle boy that I got to watch grow up, and I'm so excited to spend time with him. So that's my bud, is just getting to do that. And then the rose is what went well. And we have a family cabin, and it needed a kitchen purge because, the expiration dates, if our kids saw those dates, they're probably thinking it's time to start thinking about a home. So we had a huge kitchen purge and got rid of a lot of stuff, and it just felt so good, that good decluttering and that kind of thing. So I know the decluttering always feels so good. I'm going to put on a little bit of music while you think back over last week, that last part of December of 2025, and bringing you into this new year. Tell you what, when we are not intentional with our physical health, um, I just think, this reflection every week. So many of our thorns have to do with our physical health, our emotional health. And I think it's so powerful that you are here and you're putting some power into paper and you're writing this down, hoping to maybe leave some things on the page. I was laughing because a lot of y'all are like, I've been around like my spouse or my boyfriend or my partner, and I need a little me time. That was one of the biggest transitions for retirement was that we were together a lot more. So I can feel that. But there's a but in there somewhere. Lots of you have some dreams that are happening. Things like a new home or just exploring in your head what you think 2026 might bring you, embracing this idea of the new year. A dream box. Oh my gosh. If y'all are a crafter, you probably have seen the dream boxes. That's a dream, right? I would love three of them in this room. I love that for you that you got a dream box. Oh, Merry Christmas. And then we've got some roses that are just so huge. We have new babies coming, little grandbabies, and the growth of families. And you had some family time with folks. So it's been a mixed bag, right? That's what life is. And sometimes things didn't go the way we wanted, but we do this exercise to balance the thorns with maybe some buds that we can see and some roses. And oftentimes, sometimes when you have a thorn and you're starting to see the resolution, that thorn could actually inform your buds and your roses, your learnings, what you're looking forward to. So it's often true that a rosebud thorn can be the exact same thing. So thank you for spending time with this reflection and for the support that you gave one another as we looked at our past week. So yeah, let's now dig into our weekly planner. Full disclosure, I've kind of kept things a little lighter this week. I don't want to jump into the you must do all the things New Year frame of mind. I want us to be gentle and again to find peace in our simple rhythms and routines. And that way we can lean into our authentic self and be aligned with what we need and what we are actually able to do. Love the graphic over there on the right about how to actually achieve your New Year's resolutions. And the thing that always jumps out for me is allow yourself to rest. Make sure that you're doing that. And we were talking about all that physical stuff going on. There's bugs and germs and health things. And so we've got to embrace all the ways that we can take care of ourselves and be as healthy as we can be to get all the other things done. So make sure you're finding ways to put rest in your world, to celebrate your progress and giving yourself credit for stuff and focusing on what you can actually control. That's um that's me talking to me. So let's begin with thinking about how we want to feel this week, this first full week of January. What are we manifesting? What are we wanting to do? Now, this would be a great time if you have a word of the year to maybe think about how that word of the year could play into how you want to feel. Or it could also just be as simple as embracing this month's theme of alignment and you want to feel aligned. Love that. Joyful. Love that. You can do lots of words here. You can put a sticker here. Maybe there's a quote that works for you. Maybe there's just this little sentence reflective piece that kind of looks like, a mantra. I love the little sticker there in the middle, or the one in the middle with the little sweaters and the cozy little fox. I also always love the duality idea of more and less, like the one we see here, more in control, less irritated. So think about how you're feeling. Maybe look at your mood tracker right now. See how you're doing when you check in with Monday, February 5th. Like, how have the last 4 days been going? Oh my goodness. Okay, Alice, give us a definition. I don't know what that word means. I'm seeing light and rested and happy and at ease. And Amanda, always need to feel less irritated for sure. That's that whole control thing, right? I love that. Carla, stewardship. Oh, that fits beautifully because that can work with your physical self, with your home environment, with your workspace. That's a great one. So, love that. Love that. Y'all are doing great with these words. Keep sharing and maybe drop in the why behind that feeling because your word may be exactly what someone else is looking for. So now that we're kind of considering this word, let's take that into our goals for the week. Now, this space says weekly major three goals. You don't have to have three. You can have one focus. You can have six focuses. It's really about what you need. I want to remind you, though, that if you did your monthly setup, on page 8 is your start, stop, and continue box. That is such a good place to go, like, mine your goals, right? Go reread what you wrote and see if those will fit into setting some goals for this week to make sure you're doing the things that bring you into alignment, the things that stop, that you need to stop doing, that take you out of alignment, and then the things you're doing right. And so continue those. So maybe those will inform your stop, start, and continue space will inform those three goals this week. Here are some great examples from our Sonder family on how they have set up their space here. Lots of us like to do like three topics as well. So on the bottom left, mind, body, work. And so you have a goal for each one of those. Delete, delegate, delight. Same kind of idea. You put those three words in, you plug in the things that will serve that. The one over on the upper left, I love eat well, stay active, and self-care. And those three topics are really great for you if you're trying to feel healthy, feel aligned with that. And so you can see under there, they sort of made some little notes about what eat well looks like, what staying active looks like. So you could expand that. I share this one from time to time. Their weekly goals actually became a bingo board. They have like one goal, and that was to unplug. And they are tracking that they are unplugging down in their habit tracker, but they're giving themselves like a menu here with this bingo, right? Of the things that they can do to unplug. So it's not just unplug, but here are my action items. And I think those action items are super duper important. Like we have that little mini plan of how we're going to support that. Oh, Joanna is asking if the one word of the year, and it's hard to find. Yes, and you know what? We have a cute little quiz on Silk and Sonder that you can do that. Joanna, I will give if you're having a hard time landing. I was going to do a word of the year, and now I think I'm going to do a word of the quarter, and I think I'm going to align with the season. So, like my winter is going to be all kind of about rest. Everything's about vitality for me, like that one word, but I think I'm going to ultimately end up breaking it down into quarters. So maybe that will work for you. Here are some ways of folks setting their three goals and tying their to-dos directly into that. And then we, of course, can repurpose. So here's three spaces that have been repurposed with things that are not their goals, but they're different, right? So maybe like planning, make a plan to go back to school. That's a big goal. And so then your action items can happen. Okay, and then Carly's saying she does a word for 6 months with a vision board to support that. So you can break that up. Yeah, as Perry, as I've gotten older, I realize I've really got to embrace my vitality vitality. And so I think I'm going to do like rest and really try to sync up sleep this wintering quarter. And spring is going to be more about probably my nourishment and really lean into eating habits. And then in the summer, with everything hot and moving, and that part of my vitality will be about my exercise and my physical move. So I think I'm going in that direction. I'm still working on it, but I think that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so there's some ways to repurpose your space for your goals for the week, and then we can take those goals and inform our to-dos. And then again, that reminder, I love the Wonder-Led Life. That's a great Instagram account. That's this graphic here on the bottom left. And I encourage you to get really good content if you are on social media like Instagram, because the more good content accounts you follow, your algorithm changes, and it's a beautiful thing. But this one is like, I almost didn't take this walk in the woods so I could finish my to-do list. So that reminder to not be so optimistic with this list that you forget to rest and slow down and embrace the slower parts of life. There is a great example of a little to-do list over there. I don't know, I just something about writing on an angle makes it fun. And then we've got some other things to share. I keep like this big old to-do list with a bunch of the things that pop into my head. This is a lot of these go on at night before I go to bed when things, pop in my head. They say write it down. So these are things that I know have to happen, but they're not necessarily time tied or time sensitive. So I will use this list to inform some of my weekly to-dos, right? Like change the AC filter, maybe wash my makeup brushes, clean the car, do my nails, those kinds of things. And I keep it, I actually have it on a list, and then I use my Scotch, it's called a repositional glue stick, and it makes anything into a post-it note. So then it doesn't stick it permanently, so I can move this big O to-do list from journal to journal to journal and add to it as it goes along. So that's just a tip that I use, that I wanted to share with you, because these are the things I forget that I want to do. And they're not really time sensitive, but I do want to make sure they happen. And so it's like my bank of all the to-dos. So that might help you. We've got this Eisenhower decision matrix. If you have a lengthy to-do list, you can plug in things like important and urgent all the way down to not important and not urgent, and it helps you sort of sort things out. And the delete box can also be the things that you know you're going to do, like scroll on the Instagram. Maybe that goes in delete. And urgent and important might be a daily walk. And so think of those things that are going to feed you. Jennifer's dropping some links to some of these tools for tackling these to-do lists. And then here's just how folks have set their to-do list up, in different ways. It's like whatever meets your needs visually. And then some repurpose ideas. Maybe I do my to-do list on the weekly spread. And so I have my Monday and Tuesdays and Wednesdays, all those things. But maybe you put something else here like a to-be list, or the things you need to let go of, or you do a quote like the gratitude quote you see. Check off the things of like the not to do list, and you check off what you didn't do. So maybe you're trying to eliminate scrolling or multitasking or being irritable. Maybe those are the things that could go on like a not to do list. So let me put on a little bit of music while you work on your goals and to-dos. Share in the chat. What are you doing this week? Or if you're repurposing or reshaping this, maybe you've got your one goal, share that. Share, you're not doing three. And let's support one another as we set that part of our week up. All righty. Many of you wanted to see some of the weekly spreads. So I'm going to make a deal with you. I'm going to set up some weekly spread pages that we can look at next week. I'll have a bunch of ideas for you for that. And that way you can maybe see how lots of people set up their to-dos by using that weekly spread. I'll have mine, and we'll spend a little time looking at those weekly spread pages next week. Okay, that's a deal. I'll get that put into the slide deck next week for sure. Now we're going to drop down to that habit and activity tracker, which can have the same things that are on your from your habit wheel that are at the front of your journal. But we like this one in the weekly because sometimes our weeks look different and we have different things that are happening in the week. And so we can kind of set this one up to maybe something needs to happen twice this week. And we like to use that other habit tracker for like the things that happen, on a daily basis. But this one can be varied according to the week we're having. Maybe you're really leaning in to rest this week. And so your habits and activities might all reflect how you're going to incorporate the different types of rest. It's really about taking what you need. This is a great graphic from our Silk and Sonder Instagram page. And so you might want to, throw some of those in. There's mind, body, and soul, like brain dump your worries, no doom scrolling, et cetera, et cetera. I'll go back to this so you can grab any screenshots you might need. Here are some, this, I love the examples on this because the two that are touching there are kind of like the no habits, saying no to things. And so both of those are set up in that way, whereas the one over on the right are set up for like, yay, like, yes, let's get those things done. So that concept of maybe really embracing the no's or really embracing the yays. Um, You can set goals here, but you don't have to. You can just ignore the goal setting and do this as a straight tracker. It's about what you need. Lots of folks will circle the days that certain things need to happen. So, like the one at the very bottom on the right, like they have life workbook, and they're going to do that on Thursday and Saturday. And they circled those days so that they could make that happen. I want to point out, I've circled, you guys have probably seen this graphic before, but it's the reminder. The night walk with audiobook is an example of habit stacking. And so this person is going to do two things at the same time. And it's a way to it's a really great hack to introduce a new habit into your world. If you can pair that new habit with something that you're already doing. So I used to take vitamins just at night, and then I switched some things up and I started taking them in the morning, some in the morning, and I would forget to do that. So what I did is I always brush my teeth. So I wrote brush teeth and take vitamins, and I paired those two things together. I didn't give myself that check until they were both done. And it helped me establish that new habit. So, habit stacking is a great technique for brand new habits that you're trying to introduce. So, stack something new with something you're already doing, and you'll be more successful. And then we have like some inspiration if this space is like, "Oh, I don't know to go here." Also, that reminder that maybe you just need to track two things this week. You don't need to fill in all the lines. And oftentimes, if you're having trouble remembering, like you worked on those intentions, but you forget to go back to those intentions, maybe one of your check ins with your habit and activity tracker this week says, go look at intentions. And maybe you do that twice and you circle the days that that happens. And then that points you back to those other pages, those other parts that you've worked on in your journal. I've told you before, I would set up these great intentions and then forget to use them to inform the way my weeks were set up. So that could be what inspires you to do that. So let's work on these really quickly and then we'll go to the next part of our setup. All right. Amanda brought up a great point. Thank you for keeping us safe, Amanda. That if you are walking with earbuds in, earphones, headphones. Make sure that you have your volume set to where you can be very aware of your surroundings at all times. So thank you for that shout out, Amanda. We take good care of one another in Sonder family. Now that we've sort of got our first page under our belt, let's go look at this second page, our meal plan, our habit, our mind, body, soul, space, and our shopping list. And of course, this is the page that we see lots of repurposing on. Now, you are completely invited always to use the spaces just as they are printed. We have lots of examples of how folks have set that up. I always say my mind, body, health plan is truly very, very much about me. It's not about my house and my decluttering and my clean. It's about me. How am I going to take care of myself this week? But I often repurpose the meal plan. Lots of times I put my just the daily affirmation here. You can see how folks have used this for meal plans. Um, if I do put food here, it is more of a leftovers tracker so that I can make sure we're not eating old food. So it's all about making these spaces work for you. We've got some repurposing ideas for you and any of the things you like. I'm going to show you some meal plan stuff, but you could put that in your shopping list or something I'm going to show you that someone put in their shopping list could go into the meal plan or the mind body health. So this is like an all-purpose page, and you take the spaces you need to make the things you want to happen. Here's some repurposing of the meal plan, a mindful moment, a little meditation time. Did I slow down? We like the glad reflection. That's a beautiful way of doing a quick check-in, little end of day reflection. What is your gratitude? What did you learn? What did you accomplish? And what delighted you? So glad is a beautiful way to frame out one of these spaces. Also, a small reflection, one good thing. And I also love the little doodles there. Doodling is very, very good for tapping into that creative part of your brain. If you're not already a creative person, a little doodle can really help energize that. We want to take good care of our brains. That's important. We've got meal plan for the soul, just a little daily reflection question, maybe a to-do list, appointments. Maybe you celebrate the National Day of list. Um, we've got some examples of mind, body, health, and I love this. Instead of back to the grind, it's back to creating margins in my day for small joys. Do you see how I'm really trying to help us all be aligned with what we need? And so here's, just some great examples. A quote could go here. You could do some prompt work, some reflective work. Maybe it's your plan to take care of yourself. Write your affirmations here. Lots of examples that I'll go back through while you're working on this space. We always love the I feel. And you check it with yourself. How are you feeling? This pairs beautifully with your mood tracker. And then think about when you answer, how do you feel? What is that telling you that you need, right? That is such important work to do. So you could pair this with that check-in of your mood tracker. Or like below, how did I care for me? Here's a person who's going to unplug for 1 hour. And what does that mean? It means I'm switching everything off or switching everything to airplane mode. I'm doing no social media, no email, and no phone bings. Like they're reminding themselves of all those tools that need to happen. Yes, Mary Ellen, the glad reflection. I'm going to go back through it. You can see I've got it on that slide. So I'll come back through that. Here is just a little list of inspiration if you wanted to do a daily focus. So, like Monday is self care, Tuesday, clean, Wednesday, digital detox. And then they have some ideas for letting that happen. And so perhaps this gets worked into one of these spaces. And then the shopping list. Goodness, I love this space for a bingo. And usually I have some kind of a bingo, a to-do list, the things I want to do. Maybe it's just some fun tasks. And I love the grid. So you can see chore list, packing list. If you have a birthday week coming up, I highly, or a celebration week of something, or maybe somebody in your life is having a birthday, I think a bingo is a really fun way to set that up to make sure that you're being intentional for celebrating. So there's one of my old bingo birthday week bingos up there, very simple, 12 little things. Like, going to Sonic. Um, that brought me joy that week. So that's always a fun thing to set up that week. And again, we've got a shopping list. Use this as a shopping list, and you can see it's divided in half up there in the upper left. Groceries and pharmacy, all the things are there. A task list, again, more bingos. Also, if you're working on shoring up rhythms and routines, this is a great space for that. And the bottom right is one of my good night routines. I was telling you about my sleep hygiene and really trying to get that in check. This is a great space to put like those rhythms and routines in there. So I did that so I could do a daily check to make sure that my routine at night was shored up and it wasn't just, I wasn't left to my own devices. If y'all are not following Instagram, the Silk and Sonder Instagram, you've got to. You've got to make an Instagram account and follow them because some of the content on there is just gold this month, including this 31 days of living in alignment. And you can get this content on the Instagram account for Silk and Sonder. And I loved that. So it's just those little mini things. You could pop this into that calendar that's in at the front of your journal, or you could take one of these weeks and plug those things into one of these spaces. Maybe something about alignment goes in your meal plan and you draw your inspiration from there. As well as the self-sabotaging habits. We talk about being a self-saboteur, to the things to cut out. So maybe something like this shows up in your mind body health plan. We've got some moments to be excited for in January, some very calming, delightful things to take care of yourself. And also, perhaps you do this reflection somewhere on this page this week, the Dear Me New Year letter. Very short, very sweet, but very, very good work, self work there. We've got a glimmer bingo here for some inspiration as well as little things worth smiling about. Those glimmers are those tiny things in our day that bring us joy. Let me put on some music while we finish up this page. Always, always, always. We are just here at an hour. It goes by so quickly. Remember, this has been recorded, and so it will be posted to the YouTube channel probably sometime today. Jennifer's dropping in that link so you can go access that again. And always feel free to screenshot anything you see. I am going to work on pulling some of the weekly spreads, so you'll see those next week. We'll do that kind of right after that Rosebud Thorn reflection so we can make sure that you get to see those and we don't run out of time next week. But I hope that you've added some rest, some renewal things into your week so that you can feel aligned with all that life is throwing at you, that you find those glimmers and you celebrate the days that you've been given. We would love to see your setup in Sonder Club. And we also want to make sure that you are aware that we've got a really great exclusive by Mayhaw showing up on the 15th of this month. And it is New Year, Real You, Your Glow Up. And so there will be a small fee for that. But Jennifer is giving you that direct link so that you can sign up. Oh, Maggie, what a fun birthday present to yourself. I hope you can come. I think I get to be in the chat for that one. So I'll see y'all there. And there's our playlist for today. And I'm gonna close us out with a little music. And y'all just make it a great week. And we'll see you back next Monday. Y'all have a good one, Sonder family.